Nika's Booktube, la la la. Hi, I'm Nika, and today I have a publisher, Mary Ling, and she publishes books like these.
So they're books that have got facts in them rather than storybooks. Like you were just saying you want to be a scientist, and you have a book there called
How to Be a Scientist.
Shall we have a look at it?
This is a book about facts of science.
And experiments,
Yeah.
hopefully, that you'll enjoy doing.
Like this
It's like
one.
this one, which is how to make
A tornado.
Wow. Can you imagine being able to make your own tornado?
How do you get an idea for a book?
Well, we tend to talk with people like you, who are very interested in books and reading already. And then we think about the things we liked when we were as big as you. And then we find a way to put that book together so that everything we want to tell you is really interesting, because actually the world is really interesting. We have books that we make for newborn babies because we think that as soon as you can, you should start looking at books because they're such a great thing. And if you start looking at them when you're a tiny baby, as you did, I know for a fact, then you'll always look at books, which will be a brilliant thing to do.
And how long does it take to make one of those books?
Well, if it's a really big book like this, which has got over 200 pages, that would probably take about 6 people working really hard, about 6 months, which is a very long time. But the interesting thing is then, even when we finish the book, we then have to get somebody somewhere to print the book. And so we have to decide whether there are shiny bits and whether there are silvery bits and whether there are bits that you can feel like that, so they're embossed.
On this book, she is the publisher.
Yeah.
And how long have you been making books?
Oh, well, I started a very, very long time ago. Actually, I've been doing this now for nearly 30 years.
Your books have won awards, but which one's your favourite?
Oh, that's a really tricky question. At the moment, I would say my Encyclopedia of Very Important Things is one of my favourites. But some of our books that have worked really well this year are things like, we had a book called Follow the Trail, and this book was for little people who haven't yet learned to read or write, but it had little paths of sort of foil that they had to follow with their finger. And that's a really good idea if you haven't yet learned to write, because it helps you get your hand strong enough to be able to hold your pencil to form letters properly. So just before you start learning to write, you follow the trails, and that helps you learn to write. Right from the age, right from when you're born, I think you're really interested in things like
M&M's.
M&M's. Well, yes, obviously.
The big surprise is she's my grandmother.
Oh, and this is my granddaughter. Nyika, could I just say something to you?
Yeah.
That I really love Nika's Booktube a lot, and I'm extremely pleased that I've been invited along for an interview, because I think Nika's Booktube is fantastic.
Subscribe to my channel for more reviews.